Hi everyone, it's your resident space guy Lorenzo here with a short episode of KSP Next number 5. Now, the reason that this episode is short is that my Windows has updated and has mysteriously lost some footage. That's a pity, but I will explain what happened during the ascent of this booster. This is the Monstro III. When we left the action in the last episode, we were just ordering the Monstro 1. Additionally, you will notice that there is no sound, different problems, same cause. Hopefully, this will be fixed in the future, but I think the next episode will also be affected. Oh well, we'll deal with it and live on. So, what happened? We ordered the Monstro 1, and upon launch, it immediately started to go wrong. They lost two engines, then lost another engine further out, and that caused us to have to disable another three engines, which, well, was almost half the engine capability, and then the remaining engines had to work for so long that they all failed before even finishing the first stage fuel. Then, to make matters worse, the second stage engine suffered a partial failure, reducing its ISP to 100, so that rocket didn't get anywhere near orbit. That, if you may recall, completely wiped out the funds. We had 76 credits remaining, not enough to build an orbital booster, so we had to do what I proclaimed I didn't want to do, which was accept the contract without a proven booster and take the 2 years time to develop, build, and fly one. That will translate to enough time and money to make three boosters. One of them didn't pass simulation testing, and the other one, during this time, that's the one we're actually watching right now, the Monstro III. This is using uprated RD103M engines, which basically offer the same performance as the regular vanilla RD103s, with the important exception that they will burn for about 20 seconds longer. This doesn't seem like a lot, but it made a big difference. We made the tanks a bit fatter and a bit longer, and consequently, the whole rocket has about 600 meters per second of delta V more. Furthermore, this is all pretty much the same as you saw in the simulation last episode, with the difference that the engine, which is well, displaying the exact same graphics, is now slightly better underneath. So I've got the second stage here, and that is now going to power, hopefully, the third stage into orbit. We really need this because after this we have just about one more shot at building a orbital rocket, and then the contract fails, and that would pretty much be game over for the space program. So this burn is about 2 minutes remaining, and fortunately that went off without a hitch. Unfortunately, the first stage ascent was a little bit steep, so our apoapsis is now already up to about 400-500 kilometers, and I'm worried about the shape of our final orbit. We could go really high and still not orbit. That's not good. So I'm going to angle the third stage down a little bit to, well, even though it's inefficient, to expend the energy in the direction of orbit. The only failure we've had so far is the solid booster on this stage had a partial failure, as indicated by the window on the top. Didn't affect the mission at all, so that's a good failure to have. And indeed, even the third stage burns out really happily without any failures on the way. We're still not in orbit though, and we've got about 200 meters per second left. It's going to be really close, but just before stage burnout, we get the camera wobble that indicates we're in a orbit that's accepted by the game engine. The apoapsis and the periapsis are both outside the atmosphere, and that means we are officially in orbit. The contract has been completed, and we immediately transition from being strapped for cash on all sides to being pretty flush. We can do whatever we want within reason now. Great. So what is there what remains to be done? This spacecraft has batteries but no power generation, but it has science experiments. So we're going to orbit the Earth a few times and return science from all the different biomes. Currently watching a very highly accelerated display of me doing just that. This should handsomely allow us to research crude capsules and better rockets, all for a future in which we can go to Mars, put some Kerbals on the ground there, and most importantly, return them home safely. And have a look at the well, we got a lot of prestige. We can have a look at the contracts building. There's a lot we can do. We now get basically the menial contracts we're used to from the stock game, like put a satellite in so and so orbit, return science from so and so place. We still have the crude milestones, altitude, speed, that stuff, suborbital flights with Kerbals on board. And I can now safely announce that next episode will be focusing on the Thor program, which is going to be rolling out crude explorations, bringing Kerbals to interesting places and returning them home safely. All, of course, for science, money, and fame. Thanks for watching this very short episode. I'm Lorenzo. Check back next time to see if we manage to not kill any Kerbals. Thanks for watching. See you next time.